At a friend's party, a younger woman nestled close to my boyfriend. "Darling, your girlfriend's makeup is so skillful. Unlike me, I can only go barefaced." I stood up straight, pulled her into the restroom, and spent 15 minutes giving her a perfect makeover. Looking at herself in the mirror, the beautiful girl's eyes suddenly welled up. "Kai, could you be my personal makeup artist? Any salary, money is not an issue. Please, I'm begging you." I thought she was a green tea girl, but it turned out she was just a beautiful, naive one. The first time I saw Niamh, I admit, I was completely captivated. In this industry, it's rare to see a beauty consistently appear barefaced, and Niamh was one of them. She floated in wearing a flowing white chiffon dress, her untouched face becoming the radiant moonlight countless people yearned for. Arthur was a B-list actor, and I, a B-list scriptwriter. After we started dating, he'd often boast about his connections in the entertainment industry, and Niamh's name would inevitably come up. Niamh, oh, she's in a league of her own, a bottom-tier scriptwriter like you would never even dream of meeting her. Arthur, stop manipulating me. If I'm bottom-tier, what does that make you? Niamh, Niamh, Niamh. I'd heard her name so many times my ears were starting to buzz, but Arthur continued his endless, tiresome bragging. So, even before she introduced herself, I knew she was Niamh. I heard her family background was incredibly influential. Her father was considered a powerful figure in the industry, yet she herself showed no trace of arrogance. If not for that, minor figures like Arthur and I wouldn't have even had the chance to be at this party. She chatted enthusiastically with everyone, a sweet smile always on her lips, so captivating that it almost stole the souls of those scoundrel men. "Darling, your girlfriend's makeup is really skillful. Unlike me, I can only go barefaced." The moment I heard that, I almost spat out the mouthful of water I'd just drunk. Is there really such a low-level green tea girl? I turned to see Arthur grinning, his mouth stretched almost ear to ear. All right, well, it actually worked. Ignoring everything, I grabbed her arm, pulled her straight into the restroom, walking forward without a glance back, oblivious to the astonished stares of everyone around us. Done. 15 minutes later, I put my makeup back in my bag. Niamh turned to look in the mirror, stunned. What was wrong? Did it look that bad? A hint of worry crept into me. I was always confident in my makeup skills and aesthetic. Why was Niamh reacting like this? As my heart pounded with anxiety, Niamh suddenly turned, her eyes red-rimmed, and looked at me. "Kai, could you be my personal makeup artist? Any salary, money is not an issue. Please, I'm begging you." She grabbed my hand, tears welling up on the verge of spilling. Hey, 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 don't cry. People will think I bullied you." I was completely bewildered. What kind of plot twist was this? "Kai, I'm truly begging you. I've interviewed no less than 100 makeup artists, and I've never met anyone who does makeup as beautifully as you. Your technique and design style, I can't find anywhere else." My mind couldn't process it in time. Just as I was trying to compose myself, Niamh swiftly pulled something out of her bag and with a soft click, pressed it into my hand. "Kai, this 3 million yuan is a small token of my sincerity. Please, give me this chance." What? I'd just gone to a dinner party and ended up becoming Niamh's exclusive makeup artist. I hadn't told anyone about this yet, and I'd asked Niamh to keep it a secret too, because it was truly too bizarre. In my bag was a bank card loaded with 3 million yuan. I kept replaying this dramatic turn of events. How could Niamh be such a beautiful, naive girl? Was she a genuine white lotus in this industry? After witnessing Niamh's charm again tonight, Arthur finally couldn't take it anymore and actively proposed breaking up with me. He wanted to pursue Niamh, even if it meant scaling mountains of blades or diving into seas of fire, he wouldn't hesitate. Arthur turned his back to me, gazing up at the sky as he spoke those words. Perhaps he genuinely thought this scene was incredibly dramatic, deeply moving, which probably explained why he was only a B-list actor. Niamh directly invited me to live at her house, saying it would be more convenient for our future schedules. So, I returned the apartment I shared with Arthur and moved into Niamh's luxurious villa. Arthur even thought I moved out of the rental apartment because I was afraid of being reminded of him, deeply hurt after our breakup. He probably messaged me on WeChat, advising me not to be too heartbroken by his departure. The result? A red exclamation mark next to his sent message. Arthur, both astonished and furious, changed his number and called to ask how I could bear to delete him, wondering if it was because my love was so deep that it had turned to bone-deep hatred. Love your big shot ass, get lost, and stop bothering me. With that, I hung up. Niamh sat beside my bed, holding a plate of fruit, waiting for me to finish the call, then picked up a piece of mango and fed it to me. Kai, was that jerk calling to annoy you again? Chewing the mango Niamh fed me, I actually felt a little overly pampered. It's fine, it's fine. I already deleted him. I'm not sad at all. I never even liked him to begin with. But Niamh seemed even angrier than I was. She frowned, pouting. That person is really too much. Should I tell my dad to blacklist him? Cough, cough, asterisk. I choked abruptly. Niamh suddenly got the urge to act, so her dad waved his hand and she brought money into the production crew. And I, too, basked in the golden glow of her wealth. After learning I was a scriptwriter, Niamh enthusiastically invited me to join. The script only needed some superficial adjustments, and then I'd do Niamh's makeup. My entire 3 years of previous work combined hadn't earned me as much as a single month by Niamh's side. Boo-hoo-hoo, she's no green tea. She's clearly my precious treasure. Niamh was truly so innocent. After getting close to her, I just wanted to keep her in my pocket all day, always feeling like if I let her out for even a second, some bad guy would snatch her away. And I never expected to see Arthur here. Last time, Niamh said she wanted to blacklist him, and I said, just let it go, don't bother with petty people. But Niamh still secretly cut off his resources. Arthur, who already didn't earn much, was now even poorer. This time, I wondered how much effort he'd put in to land a background role in Niamh's film, a role with less than 5 lines in total. What's more, I heard 3 of those lines were, "Have mercy, my lord." The first day Arthur arrived, he couldn't wait to rush over and cling to Niamh. I immediately appeared by Niamh's side, giving him a menacing glare. Kai! Arthur was so startled his voice changed. I didn't let him utter another unnecessary word and immediately sent him away. Of course, he held a grudge against me. The sweet romantic film starring Niamh exploded upon release. Her pure and gentle face, softer than moonlight, attracted countless fans overnight, and her follower counts across platforms skyrocketed. But recently, rumors about me began to circulate online, like I was selling myself for advancement, using unscrupulous methods, and so on. Perhaps to grab attention, they even deliberately tagged Niamh and added the title, Niamh's personal makeup artist, instantly garnering countless shares and comments. Niamh was invited to appear on a variety show. I was doing her makeup backstage. Watching the rumors about me constantly pop up on her phone, Niamh's expression grew increasingly troubled. "Who has the nerve to do that?" she muttered softly, her tone laced with anger. I chuckled. "It's fine. There are always idle people out there, no need to pay attention. I'm not a star, just a makeup artist. What people say doesn't matter as long as Niamh isn't affected, right?" I smiled at Niamh. Of course, how could I ever complain about a kind and gentle Kai like you? I like you the most, Kai. Niamh's eyes curved into a smile as she looked at me, and my heart almost melted. She suddenly straightened her back and leaned towards me. I instinctively closed my eyes. Kai's lipstick, what color is it? It smells so good. I opened my eyes to see her sniffing near my lips. I felt my cheeks flush slightly. But I never expected that very scene to be secretly photographed, and in a flash, it became the top trending search term the next day. Rising star Niamh and her makeup artist are a couple. I frantically clicked on it, and the large photo showed Niamh leaning towards my lips and me instinctively closing my eyes. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Niamh. Kai, I'm so sorry. I never expected to be secretly photographed and have rumors like this spread. I'm truly sorry. Hearing Niamh's choked voice on the verge of tears, my heart shattered. It's okay, Niamh. I'm just a behind-the-scenes person anyway. This won't affect me. What about you? Are you all right? I'm fine. It's all my fault. I didn't close the curtains in the dressing room yesterday, and now I've made you worry, Kai. Niamh's voice was full of self-reproach. So, what should we do next? First, we need to clarify things. Then, do we need to keep some distance? Or should I stop? Do you want to find another makeup artist? Of course not. Hearing me say that, Niamh suddenly panicked. I'll never change my makeup artist in my whole life. Wah, Kai, please don't keep your distance from me. Can't we just be as good as before? When Niamh cried, I became anxious. I quickly agreed to everything, comforting her for a long time until her sobs on the phone slowly subsided. Click, the phone hung up, and my mind slowly calmed down. It was then that I suddenly realized Niamh seemed particularly fond of clinging to me. but we had only known each other for a few days. No, next time I must remind her to be more cautious with people, lest she get conned and sold off, still helping them count the money. Just as Niamh said, the rumor wasn't dealt with at all. Niamh didn't issue any clarifications, didn't intentionally keep her distance from me, and never mentioned the incident anywhere. Of course, a single, seemingly random photo couldn't really prove anything. So, not long after, the buzz around the rumor gradually died down. Ever since Niamh suddenly shot to fame, resources poured in endlessly. But for her, none of it truly mattered. After all, she wasn't short on money. She probably just picked and chose to participate in things that seemed interesting, treating it like a fun pastime. Recently, she accepted a new film, and the male lead alongside her was the rising actor Jaden. Niamh's original intention was to play the second female lead, but the director had managed to persuade her to take on the main female role. Later, the explosive drama would begin with Niamh accepting this leading role. Jaden hadn't been in the public eye for long. Or rather, he used to be a nobody, then suddenly, as if pushed by some unseen force, he shot to fame like a meteor. I accompanied Niamh to the film set to prepare for the busy work ahead. I had thoroughly studied and learned about makeup and styling for a long time, so I was in no way inferior to the film crew's makeup team. Essentially, I handled Niamh's entire look myself. From the first day of filming, whenever I looked at Jaden, I always felt an inexplicable oddness. Some days, work started very early, and Jaden would bring an exquisitely prepared breakfast box into the makeup room and place it on Niamh's table. They didn't know each other at all. Even Niamh found it puzzling. She had refused many times, but Jaden continued to bring them consistently. "We appreciate your kindness, Mr. Jaden, but I prepare Niamh's breakfast every day." "You don't need to trouble yourself." I offered Jaden a polite smile. He looked at me with a meaningful gaze, still acting as he pleased. From that moment on, I felt something was off. Once I had a suspicion, I started finding more clues everywhere. For instance, I noticed that during filming, Jaden would often spontaneously add intimate gestures between himself and Niamh that weren't in the script. Or, after the director yelled, "Cut!" he would still keep his arm around Niamh's waist, only letting go after a long while. This film hadn't even aired yet, but all sorts of behind-the-scenes photos were already flooding major platforms. The posted pictures were always suggestive, focusing on close interactions between Jaden and Niamh, holding hands, embracing, or Niamh sweetly smiling at Jaden. They claimed it was to build hype, but no matter how I looked at it, it seemed like Jaden was intentionally creating a publicity stunt. It was a shame that both Jaden and Niamh had such good public images in the industry. Such photos, when posted, not only led no one to suspect Jaden was pulling stunts. Instead, a large number of fans started shipping them. The film hadn't even officially premiered, but the Niamh-Jaden couple's buzz was already skyrocketing. The scene they had just finished shooting was the male and female leads strolling hand-in-hand through a night market. The scene was over, but Jaden showed no intention of letting go of Niamh's hand. I stared at his hand clasped tightly around Niamh's. Niamh, too, looked at me with a hint of impatience. I suddenly spoke in a cold voice. "Mr. Jaden, this scene is finished. You can let go now." My words, sharp and laced with sarcasm, rang out abruptly. Immediately, everyone looked my way. Jaden froze for a moment, then released Niamh's hand and smiled at her. "Sorry, Niamh, I got too immersed in the role just now, I forgot to let go." "Too immersed in the role?" I raised an eyebrow, saying nothing more. That night, I lay in bed, replaying every one of Jaden's gestures. I always used the worst possible malice to guess men's intentions, and I was rarely wrong. Knock, knock. Suddenly, there was a soft knock on my door. I got up and opened it. It was Niamh, clutching a pillow, standing outside my room, her small face looking deflated, her long curly hair tangled from rubbing. "Kai, I can't sleep." "Me neither." I stepped aside to let her in. "Come in, let's talk for a bit." Niamh hugged her pillow, leaning against the headboard, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me, as if veiled by a misty haze. I began, "What do you think of Jaden?" Niamh tilted her head, clearly understanding my implication. Suddenly, a sly glint flashed in her eyes. "Don't worry, Kai, he won't fool me." I quirked my lips. Looks like she wasn't that naive after all. I also said seriously, "Niamh, your family background is powerful, and you're an only daughter. There are quite a few people with ill intentions towards you. Absolutely don't be careless." Niamh's eyes curved, and she gave me a confident smile. You can rest assured, Kai, I'm not that easy to fool. Seeing Niamh's, I'm the smartest person in the world, expression, I couldn't help but chuckle. Tell me, why can't you sleep? Are you in a bad mood? Hearing my question, Niamh, with half her face buried in the pillow, blinked. Through the cushion, I heard her mumble, just now, I really was in a bad mood, but I don't know why as soon as I saw you, Kai, my mood suddenly got better. I burst out laughing. Niamh was just like a child. Niamh looked at me seriously, as if something had just occurred to her. She began, so, can I sleep with you tonight, Kai? I froze. Then very quickly I replied, of course. Niamh's eyes suddenly lit up with excitement, and with a soft thump, she placed her pillow next to mine. Yay! I turned off the light. Niamh suddenly snuggled close to me. Honestly, I rarely slept with other people. Niamh pressed close, the proximity so intimate I could faintly smell her body wash. Unnaturally, I tucked my hands behind me. Kai, what kind of person do you like? Ah, this question, I thought for a long time, then said, I can't think of it, it's a bit hard to say. So, did you really like Arthur before? Niamh's voice held a hint of tension. Hearing my ex-boyfriend's name in the middle of the night, my mouth twitched. No. After saying it, I couldn't help but add, that brain-dead man. Niamh burst out laughing. Then why were you with him? Why was I with Arthur? I recalled a bit. It must have been that night when we were drunk, playing truth or dare. Arthur's dare was to pick anyone present to be his girlfriend. Arthur, his eyes glazed over with drunkenness, casually pointed at me. So, amidst everyone's cheers, I, too, was drunk and disoriented, becoming Arthur's girlfriend in their words. The next morning, sober, I asked the most classic question, what are we now? Arthur on the other end thought for a few seconds, then said, just be in love. So I told Niamh, I picked him out of a trash can. I had thought Niamh would laugh at me, but unexpectedly, she nodded vigorously. He really was picked from a trash can. Don't pick boyfriends from the trash anymore, Kai. She huddled in the blankets, looking up at me, her eyelashes fluttering like the newly unfurled, softly beating wings of a young bird. You're even lecturing me now? You're the silly one. I joked a little, but Niamh remained serious, no smile on her face. She suddenly asked, does it have to be a boyfriend? Filming was nearing its end, and I could see Jaden gradually becoming impatient, unable to wait any longer. Perhaps he thought he could quickly get what he wanted, only to hit a wall. On 520, May 20th, which sounds like I love you in Chinese, he swaggered into the makeup room with a large bouquet of flowers, but only found me sitting there, studying makeup techniques with no sign of Niamh. Where's Niamh? I glanced at him indifferently. Don't be so intimate. It's not like you and Niamh are that close. Hearing my words, a clear look of displeasure crossed Jaden's face. He leaned closer to me, warning, Kai, mind your own business. What are you doing? Why are you standing so close to Kai? Niamh's voice suddenly rang out, startling both Jaden and me. We simultaneously looked up to see Niamh standing at the door. Jaden's expression changed instantly. He put on a gentle smile and stepped forward, intending to hand the bouquet of roses to Niamh. Niamh, 520 is. Before Jaden could finish, I smoothly snatched the bouquet and with a soft asterisk thud, tossed it into the trash can. I stood beside him, glancing at the camera placed in the corner of the room, and calmly said, Jaden, stop playing these ridiculous games. I had long since thoroughly investigated Jaden's background. He'd been in the entertainment industry for 3 years, yet his reputation was worse than a newcomer's. Seeing himself getting older, he grew impatient, so he found a wealthy older woman to support him. I heard she was 30 years his senior. After acting in a few dramas and starting to gain fame, with resources, reputation, and money, he now wanted to escape the clutches of his benefactor, but he wasn't capable enough. He kept looking until he set his sights on Niamh, a powerful, only daughter with no schemes of her own. He dreamed of climbing Niamh's high branch, a crow hoping to become a phoenix. Tusk, truly disgusting. All right, Niamh, a little closer now, move closer to the male lead. Yes, that's right, a little closer, a little closer. I snapped out of it, looking up. It was a kissing scene. I frowned, looking at Niamh, who was standing still, her face full of worry. Director? I spoke up. What are you doing? Initially, the director completely ignored me, but after realizing Niamh and I were close, and that Niamh even listened to me, his attitude towards me gradually improved. It's a kissing scene, we're just guiding the female lead to adjust her mood. A real kiss? I challenged. Before the director could even speak, Jaden cut in. Of course, it has to be a real kiss to give the audience the best experience. Looking at his sanctimonious demeanor, I was too lazy to expose him. I just turned to the director and said, I remember when we decided to cast Niamh as the female lead, there was a prior agreement that kissing scenes would use camera angles. The director's expression stiffened slightly. I didn't need to think twice to know that Jaden must have given him no small amount of benefits. Director, do you still want to insist on not using that technique? Just as Jaden said, to provide the audience with the best experience, including atmosphere and emotion, I was too tired to say more. I stepped forward, took Niamh's hand, and pulled her away. Niamh, let's go, we're not filming anymore. Niamh was stunned at first, but after she reacted, she immediately ran after me, leaving the film set. My blood boiled with anger. Had Jaden's despicable and dirty intentions really been laid bare so brazenly? Behind us were chaotic shouts. I pulled Niamh, striding quickly. It wasn't until we reached the riverbank that the cool breeze calmed some of the agitation in my heart. What a scumbag! I couldn't help but curse. They just think you're easy to bully. I turned to look at Niamh. She was obediently standing beside me, hands clasped behind her back. When our eyes met, a radiant smile suddenly bloomed on her face. I didn't react fast enough. What are you smiling at? Niamh shook her head, but the smile on her face didn't fade at all. I know, Kai, you're the best. A soft body suddenly threw itself into my arms. Niamh's slender, pale arms gently wrapped around my waist, her chin resting on my shoulder. I could feel her warm breath brush against my neck. My heart skipped a beat, and in my ears, the wind whistled. The stream of traffic passed by like blurred streaks of color in my vision. I looked out at the river, seeing one wave rise only to be suppressed by another. Niamh's new film aired, receiving countless praises, its popularity even surpassing her previous one. But Niamh wasn't happy at all. I leaned close to her, watching her phone screen flash nonstop. Niamh and Jaden are truly a perfect match. I want to ship them madly. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Does anyone know what Niamh and Jaden's real-life relationship is like? This film doesn't feel like acting at all. Niamh's gloomy expression grew heavier and heavier. Jaden certainly has a lot of side accounts, I suddenly said. Niamh paused for a moment, then burst out laughing. She leaned her head gently on my shoulder, looking at me. Kai, you've worked so hard during this time, thank you. You're the one who's worked hard. I gently took a long strand of her hair, wrapping it around my fingertip repeatedly. Her jet black, soft, and shiny hair, never permed or dyed, lay across my lap. In truth, I was very tense. I didn't know when, but the relationship between Niamh and me had started to become a little strange. Kai, next month I have to film a variety show. I remember. I want you to come with me. Of course I'll go, it's not like I have leave or anything. Niamh suddenly sat up, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me seriously. That's not what I meant. I meant I want you to be asterisk on the show with me. It was a reality variety show about daily life. When I saw cameras everywhere in the house, I truly felt uncomfortable. When Niamh proposed the idea, my first reaction was to refuse. But she then told me, her eyes red-rimmed, that they had initially arranged for Jaden to be her co-star. All right then, I'll go. This was my first time appearing on camera. The last time my name was widely mentioned online was because of the photo of Niamh and me. Facing the cameras, I was initially very awkward. Don't be nervous, just be natural, like how we live together every day. Niamh gently took my hand, her fingertip playfully tracing my palm. If not for the feedback from the audience after the show aired, I would have been completely unaware of how intimate and natural Niamh and I had become in our shared life. Niamh was an excellent cook. We would drive together to buy groceries, then come back and cook. I, however, was completely clueless in the kitchen. Every time, I insisted on only helping her, but Niamh loved pulling me into the cooking process. Taking a pitch-black egg tart out of the oven, serving up a plate of braised pork even blacker than charcoal, arranged on a meticulously decorated table with dew-kissed roses, it was certainly quite a sight. Niamh and I each took a bite, looked at each other for 5 seconds, then each found a trash can to spit it out. We hugged the trash cans, stomachs rumbling, laughing until we couldn't breathe. In the end, I still had to drive Niamh to a restaurant to eat. Sometimes, when it rained, Niamh and I would waste time in our room. I had probably gotten used to the cameras and started to act more naturally. I sat on the windowsill reading a book, while Niamh rested her head on my lap, gazing blankly out the window, watching the rain. The shimmering raindrops veiled the world outside the window in a hazy, gray film, making everything indistinct. Perhaps that's why I felt Niamh's eyes were exceptionally bright. Niamh busied herself in the kitchen for a long time, then brought out a glass of milk tea. She offered me the first sip. I nodded vigorously, signaling that it was delicious. Then, she happily took it and drank the second sip. On the transparent glass, 2 lipstick marks overlapped, and neither of us paid it any mind. The reaction after the variety show aired propelled me to the peak of public opinion. The name Kai once again appeared in the public's view. This time, a group of people emerged to oppose the Niamh-Jaden pairing. The keywords Niamh, Kai immediately exploded across major platforms. Details from the show were cut and edited with added music. Compared to the Niamh-Jaden pairing in the drama, the way Niamh and I lived together on the variety show appeared far more natural and authentic. In the live comments, some even said they wanted to cry. Are you two really a couple? Tell us now. Fans of the Niamh-Jaden and Niamh Kai pairings began to argue, constantly battling across all platforms. Compared to the Niamh Kai pairing, supporters of Niamh-Jaden seemed to be at a disadvantage. That evening, I received a strange call. Kai, I miss you. Gasp. Niamh, who had just put a small piece of cake into my mouth, panicked. What's wrong? Is it that hard to eat? I shook my head and made a shushing gesture. Niamh immediately froze. I put the phone on speaker. Hello, Kai. I took a deep breath, trying to suppress a physiological wave of nausea. What's up? Hearing my indifferent tone, the other party seemed to hesitate for a moment, but then immediately played along. Kai, how have you been lately? Arthur's voice rang out, and the spoonful of cake Niamh had just scooped fell to the floor with a asterisk clink asterisk. What's wrong with him? Niamh mouthed, her face full of surprise. I shrugged, wondering what trick he was planning. Spit it out if you have something to say. Don't put on an act with me. Kai, it hasn't been that long. Why are you talking to me so coldly? I rolled my eyes. Who taught you to call me Kai? Don't you find it disgusting? Besides, I've always treated you this way. Don't act like I used to be nice to you. Aren't you tired of changing your number and calling me every day? You're like a persistent ghost. Arthur probably didn't expect me to be so venomous. He was silent for a moment. Oh, I see. I suddenly realized, could it be that Jaden told you to do this? How did you know? Arthur stammered nervously. I scoffed coldly. How much did Jaden pay you? What did he tell you to do? Tell me the truth and I'll give you double. Arthur hesitated for a moment. Really? Of course it's real. Don't you know I'm not short on money now? All right then. Arthur immediately brightened up. He told me to come seduce you, use our old memories to make you emotional and sad so you'd get back together with me. He would then conveniently go after Niamh. My fee was 200,000 yuan. If successful, there'd be more. I was truly shocked. Jaden trusts you that much, and you were confident enough to actually accept? I didn't know what else to say. Truly, a pair of sleeping dragons and crouching phoenixes, both equally foolish. With that, I was about to hang up. Arthur quickly cried out, Hey, you haven't given me the money yet. I told you were foolish, but you didn't believe me. The next second, I decisively hung up. This time, Niamh was truly furious. She hastily opened her phone as if to call someone. I immediately brought my laptop in front of her. Looking for this, aren't you? I opened a folder named Jaden, and the contents within were incredibly rich. Disgusting chat messages, photos of him being kept, and further down, evidence I had secretly taken of him harassing Niamh. Niamh was stunned, then looked up at me, a surprised smile spreading across her face. After handing these things over to Niamh, I realized that Niamh only seemed easy to bully because she hadn't made her move yet. At 8 p.m. the next day, all the information was released consecutively, each piece more shocking than the last. High-resolution photos were placed on the front page, directly crushing Jaden to the point where he had no room to fight back. Popular actor Jaden advanced through special services. Jaden frequently harassed actress Niamh during filming. Leaked dirty chat messages of popular actor Jaden. I randomly clicked on an article. All were concise, sharp statements, listing each of Jaden's actions clearly and logically. Niamh, of course, didn't spare Arthur either. I don't know where she found the chat messages between Arthur and Jaden. The screenshot showed this conversation. You, go quickly seduce that Kai, pretend to get back together. Those silly women, just make them a little emotional and it's done, right? Hurry up, don't mess up my plan to win Niamh over. Once I marry Niamh, we'll have endless money. When her parents die, won't all the money be ours? Jaden, who is usually praised by fans for his polite, gentle, and hardworking image, had his carefully constructed persona shattered in an instant. All his social media accounts were bombarded with messages, cursed at until he had no armor left. As for Arthur, who was already sinking, he officially retired from the industry. He normally loved to boast, and he didn't have many true friends, so when disaster struck, he found no one willing to help. After this incident, I heard Niamh arranged for him to work in a screw assembly factory. To avoid the relentless media interviews and the chaotic industry battles, Niamh and I traveled abroad. Niamh's father had bought a small island overseas and was developing a tourism project there. The scenery on the island was beautiful, the climate pleasant, and it was the off-season, so there weren't many people. So Niamh and I flew to that island. The island had a temperate climate, so summer wasn't too hot. The atmosphere was leisurely, peaceful, far from all the hustle and bustle. We planned to stay there for a while. However, for the first 2 days, the jet lag wasn't easy for Niamh and me. A crescent moon hung in the sky, but neither of us felt sleepy at all. "Niamh, can you sleep?" Niamh was sitting on the sofa, blankly staring at the TV. She turned to look at me and shook her head. "Want to go for a walk?" Waves gently crashed onto the sandy beach, creating a soothing sound. Niamh and I walked one behind the other on the sand. The vast, boundless sky enveloped the night. The ocean and the stars filled our vision. In the middle of the sky, a crescent moon cast its reflection onto the sea, which the waves broke into countless sparkling golden fragments. I stopped, turning to look at Niamh, who was walking behind me. "Niamh, there's a question I've always wanted to ask you." Niamh snapped out of her trance. "What question? Why were you friends with someone like Arthur? Arrogant, conceited, incompetent, and always boasting. Every time he mentioned you to me, I was very suspicious. If you're truly that good, why would you waste your time on someone like him?" Niamh also stopped. She turned to look at the sea, remaining silent. "Kai," her voice was very calm. "Do you know why I invited Arthur to every event? Because his girlfriend was you." She took a deep breath. "I don't know how to explain it to you, because saying love at first sight is too cliché. Before we officially met that night, I had secretly been watching you for a very long time. I could only pretend to contact Arthur and get a little bit of information about you from him, or secretly glimpse you standing next to him. I couldn't say anything, couldn't do anything. When I heard you and Arthur broke up, I felt happier than I'd ever been in my life. Kai, I truly love you very much. Not the kind of liking for a friend, but love." Niamh continued to look out at the sea, not at me. Her voice was scattered by the sea breeze, but I heard every single word clearly. I saw tears at the corners of her eyes blown away by the wind. She was trying hard to control herself. I felt a lump in my throat. "Kai, don't be nervous." Niamh suddenly smiled. "I can guess what you're going to say. It's okay, I'm prepared. I'm not saying these words for any purpose, I simply want to let you know my feelings. Nothing else matters. You can frankly refuse me." Niamh's tears began to fall incessantly. She knew she couldn't hide it anymore and decisively turned to look directly at me. That silence and concealment were all her unspoken love. Day by day, year after year, that love had grown in her heart like an uncontrollable beast, and now it had finally broken free from its cage. Niamh's eyes were red-rimmed, her suppressed emotions making her body tremble slightly. I stepped towards Niamh, slipped my hand around her neck, and placed the necklace I had been holding tightly in my hand around her. "Niamh, that night you asked me, does it have to be a boyfriend?" I didn't answer you. It wasn't because I was rejecting you or avoiding you, but simply because in my 26 years of barren life, I had never liked anyone. Faced with your question, I couldn't answer it at that moment. But now I have my answer. The moment you stand before me, my love has nothing to do with any complex external conditions. Those things are only for people who don't love. As for you, you asterisk are love itself. Niamh, like a string that had been taut for too long, finally snapped. She burrowed into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. I gently patted her back, leaning down to whisper in her ear, "Niamh, this necklace means pure, untainted love. Tonight I actually prepared so many words to say, but you beat me to it." Niamh cried even louder, as if wanting to release all the grievances of her life in that moment. You said it, you can't take it back." I won't take it back. I like Niamh the most." Niamh's crying gradually softened. She lifted her head from my embrace, her voice thick with emotion. "Then I'll tell you the truth. The first time we were secretly photographed by paparazzi in the makeup room, I arranged it. The same goes for the variety show later. No one ever arranged for Jaden to be my co-star. The person I aimed for from the very beginning was you. I did it on purpose. Now I want the whole world to know I like you." Seeing Niamh's red-rimmed, Pouting eyes, I laughed. Why does Niamh want to tell me now? Because, she paused, her voice growing softer, lacking confidence. I was afraid that if you found out later and questioned me, what would I do? In the end, it turns out it was all me orchestrating things behind your back. I smiled at her, then used my thumb to wipe away the tears on her cheek. What if I actually knew a long time ago? Niamh's expression lost control. Then are you angry? But it's all because I like you so much. Can you forgive me for that? I didn't answer, but instead lowered my head and gently pressed my lips to hers. Niamh froze, then wrapped her arms around my neck, actively leaning closer. The salty sea breeze tousled Niamh's pristine white long dress. She stood on tiptoe, and beneath the white chiffon, a section of her snow-white calves was revealed. I could feel her warm tears rolling down, falling onto my face too. Niamh's long eyelashes brushed against my cheek, as if picking up a lost memory. I secretly opened my eyes and looked at the crescent moon on the sea. A corner of its clear light was obscured by dark clouds, but I knew the moon in my life had become full in that moment.